Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It is Thursday. It's April the 8th, 2021. It's another Taking Off podcast. It's a sunny day outside. We've finally gotten past endless rain and cloudy weather here in Halifax. As it was, my God, was it gloomy for the longest time. Yep. Just brutal. I mean, not that I was leaving the house anyway, but Em and I have been sitting here saying to ourselves, we need to go for a walk, we need to go for a walk, we need to go for a walk. And every day that we look outside, it was like pissing rain, or just horrible weather. So, we finally got for like a mini walk here yesterday, but my God, yeah, we're past it. It's sunny. As you can see in the room, I look like I'm at the pearly gates right now. And we're ready for another Technical Alpha podcast. But before we get started, as always, Mr. Black, I have a very important question to ask. How was your week?
It was okay.
Yeah,
It was all right week. What did I get done this week? Nothing too crazy. I'm finishing up renovations there at the duplex that had the flood.
right.
So that should be basically complete. Outside of just grabbing a fridge and a stove by Saturday. So I would say by Monday it should be fully done. Other than that, man, just been same old shit, different pile.
Wonderful.
That's it.
Wonderful.
Yep.
I completed Hades this last week. That was the game that the Patreons had voted on for a review, so I played Hades, and not I put it in the list knowing that it would likely get picked because so many people wanted me to review it. I don't understand why, because it was like a foregone conclusion that if you like that genre, like if you like the roguelite, roguelike genre, that Hades is like it's a fucking foregone conclusion. You buy the game. It's literally the best, almost inarguably the best game in the entire genre. But here we are. So I played that, and as it turns out, guess what? It's a pretty fucking good video game, Mr. Black. No shockers there. I'll have the review written and done up, and then the video review will probably be up here in another 3 or so days. And then I hopped over to Outriders was the next game. That's a hot topic in the world of Twitterverse and everywhere else, as people, and Twitch, I guess, as well to a degree, as people are hopping in on another looter shooter in Outriders. So I played about 3.5 hours of that yesterday evening, and I have to say, holy fuck, does that game make no sense. Like, zero. I'm 3.5 hours in, the entire prologue happens, and I have gleaned absolutely nothing from the entire prologue outside of the fact that, you know, humanity has left Earth and we found another planet and now we're dealing with some shit. That's about all I got. That's
Sounds
all.
like a fun.
That's all I got. Everything else that happened to that prologue was like, if you took, like, I've never okay, so the story and the visuals and everything about this game is like it has multiple personality disorder, or it doesn't know what, or like thematically it took from like every possible thing imaginable and tried to make it all fit together, but it ain't there. It's like when you have a puzzle, you know, you're putting puzzle pieces together and there's 2 or 3 pieces and they kind of work, and you've been sitting at the table for like 5 hours trying to find pieces and nothing's really fucking stuck, and then you got 2 pieces that like they kind of go together and they look like they kind of go together, but they don't really easily slide in, so you just kind of fucking slam that bitch until it works. That is Outriders, the video game.
Sweet.
So, yeah, I mean, I'll have more thoughts on it when I've played more of it, but the first 3.5 hours, I mean, what really shocked me is that the game is super divisive. There are a lot of legitimate journalists and streamers and stuff that are rock hard for this game. And then there are a bunch of people that are on the polar opposite end, and I'm just, when I'm playing it, it's not that I think the game is dog shit. It's just like, it's that perfect example of a 5 out of 10. If anyone ever actually used the full 10-point scale, this is like the dead middle. You compare games below it and above it, and it's just fucking right in the fucking middle of everything. And I don't know how anyone could... I know people can like some pretty bad games. I just don't know how you can like this game so much that you give it like a 9.5 out of 10. I think you have to be on some crack in order to do so. But I'll play more. Maybe the secret is further into the game, and I'll discover the secrets of the love for Outriders later on. But that was my week thus far. Otherwise, yeah, just relaxing. Caught up on 90 Day. 90 days all caught up now.
Nice.
Nice. I'm sad because now I don't have any 90 Day to watch, right? Now I can't continue. And so that was finished, and otherwise, yeah, just another week. But let's hop into some video game news. Thin week in news in general, Mr. Black. It's a very slow week. That's not surprising. We are getting ever closer to the spring, late spring, early summer. Everyone's holding all their cards close to their chest until they can vomit it all on the internet simultaneously for E3 and everything else. So, some news, but not too much. First up, we got Xbox game streaming app. So that was, I don't even remember what they really call it. I don't think that's necessarily the title of it, but if it is, they should probably go back and figure that one out. But the Xbox streaming app, which is basically like the Google Stadia but Microsoft version, where it's their library of games that they have on Game Pass, for example, streamable to like your cell phone or a tablet or even as I'll explain here momentarily, a PC, and just stream the games. They aren't trying to be. I think the difference is that in all of the previews that everyone's gotten their hands on of this so far, is that it's the closest thing to actually being like really playable and not super noticeable with latency and all that other fuckery. And some of that is because they're not outright targeting like 4K, 60, all the graphics turned up to fucking like the absolute maximum right off the rip. I think they kind of understand that there are limitations right now and are kind of working with them. But somebody over at Ars Technicas, where I grabbed this, they discovered that somebody else had figured out how to, in a roundabout way, install and have this running in browsers on the PC, even though it's not technically available for public consumption yet. They figured out how to do it and they were playing around with it themselves, and they were saying that yet again, it worked. They're locked to 1080p right now for the most part, all the games. And if you're playing on a wired connection, obviously a better time than if you're playing on a wireless connection. But, the reality is that a wireless connection is the most important component here. If you're going to be streaming games and you're doing it on your phone, you're not plugging a fucking Ethernet cable into the ass end of your phone. So the wireless is kind of the most important component. So it's nice to know it works on like a wired connection, but wireless will be the real determining factor. But yeah, that's a thing. But what that hints at is that they do in fact plan on bringing it to PC browsers probably sooner rather than later. And so this is not going to just be a service where it's like, hey, you can play your games on your phone or tablet, but if you've got a lower powered PC, you got a laptop, something like that, you'll still be able to play your games on those as well, all under that same kind of umbrella of the Game Pass extreme value, Walmart value, Costco free food sample value umbrella that they're building. So there you have it. I'm intrigued with that shit because as whoever figures out how to do it properly first, it's probably going to be a mindfuck to be able to just pick up your phone and start playing like a legit full-blown video game on your phone from anywhere. Obviously with 5G becoming more and more popular and more of an access, more 5G access points, or even like free Wi-Fi in some cities and places, that's going to be a pretty sweet deal for a lot of people. Commuters specifically. Obviously, this is like the primo category for I sit on a bus for 2 hours both ways from work, and I have nothing else to do but listen to mediocre podcasts by two Canadians and play video games on my Xbox game streaming service. Yeah, so there you go. Is that something that you think you'd ever make use of? Like if you were like on vacation somewhere, you're on the beach, you're not listening.
I'm not playing video games while I'm on vacation.
No, zero video games. All right,
zero.
That's fair.
Zero.
When you do it for a living, it kind of defeats the purpose after a while. But yeah, we'll see what comes out of that more in the not too distant. They are talking a lot more about the phone side of things. I think that's what they're going to focus on. But obviously, this is coming to browsers as well. And this is actually, just as an end note to this, this was partly why people were guessing at reasons for why PlayStation was removing their browser from PlayStation 5. Was because they were pretty sure that the Xbox game streaming service could run through the browser on the PlayStation. And so they were like, nah, fuck that. Get that out of there. We can't have our competition literally running on our console. That's not right. So it was part of the tinfoil hat brigade on that one. Speaking of the Xbox Game Pass, they've managed to snag a long time. In fact, I think this would be the first time ever, in my memory anyway, PlayStation exclusive, MLB The Show, which is a huge game. That's probably, it's got to be the most popular baseball game of all time at this point. MLB The Show 21 is coming to Game Pass day one.
Saw that.
Day fucking one. So they've officially managed to directly invade PlayStation's exclusive territory to now be putting their shit on the Game Pass. But obviously that was MLB going to PlayStation and saying, hey, we want more people playing our game. And as it turns out, over here, there's like 20 million people on this fucking service, and Microsoft's willing to pay us a shitload of money to put that game on here, so we're gonna have to figure something out. And there you go. I think that's probably what happened, and now it's coming to the Xbox Game Pass. Like damn near everything else. Earlier today, I saw that somebody was reminding everyone, I retweeted it, that the exclusivity of Final Fantasy VII Remake for PlayStation runs out here in the next like couple weeks or some shit. And my initial reaction was Game Pass. Game Pass. You know that gif like,
yep.
Game Pass rubbing their hands, coming out from the shadows, like, time to get another one in the bag. Because like they have pretty much every other Final Fantasy game on Game Pass right now. 7, 8, I think 9. Yep. So I'm sure it's coming. Like everything else, it's inevitable. And also with Game Pass, I just found this really funny. So, Microsoft is willing to do damn near anything to try and increase their popularity in Japan, or just get any of their reach in Japan. And so their current idea for this is they have hired a couple of on-the-rise, very popular VTubers in Japan to do specific, like, hour-long streams promoting Game Pass for Japanese people. I can't remember the name of the two VTubers specifically. They're not like the biggest ones, but they're relatively new, and they have, they're respectable. 500, I think it was like somewhere around 500,000, 700,000 subscribers a pop. And both of their streams for this got over 100,000 views. So not bad. Not bad.
Good.
For a live stream, it's pretty good. For a VTuber, So, and the YouTube specific interesting metric here is that despite the fact that it was VTubers shilling for Microsoft, the likes to dislike ratio through the roof. We're talking like less than 100 dislikes across both live streams.
There you go.
So, lesson for all future Western companies trying to break into the Japanese market: just put a waifu on the front.
Hey, listen, my VTube character is going to be all done very, very soon. I got all the it's pretty much there. I spent thousands of dollars, and it's an official thing.
But do you have an alternate costume where you have large anime titties?
I don't have. It's a dude. It's OTT.
Okay.
In anime form.
Okay.
Well, I stuck with one look right now, but he's got different emotes and different expressions and different things like that. And I'll add more as time goes. I want to see like, how well it's received. I mean,
It's
worst
worth
case,
the fucking meme, bro.
it's worth the
It's
meme.
worth the meme, bro.
It's almost done though. It's almost done.
Exciting. I'm excited for that. We're going to have to do a podcast with OTT, the VTuber.
There you go. Boom. That's it.
E3 has continued to surge forward, announcing that it will be June 12th through the 15th of this year, which is, I think, at this point, the exact time slot it's had for, I don't fucking know, it's been a long time now, and is backed by Nintendo for the first time in years. So that was actually really interesting to me. Nintendo hasn't been part of E3 for a while now, opting to do their own shit for at least, I think, 3 years now. I have to say, it's got to be at least 3 years, maybe more, but my time it means nothing to me after last year, so I don't know how long it's been. But also, Xbox is going to be there, who also opted out of E3 the last couple of years. Capcom, Ubisoft, Take-Two, and Warner Brothers, as well as Koch Media, will all be frontliners for this event. So everyone but Sony of the big three, and major publishers, more or less, with other notable people not being there or companies not being there. So it's Sony, Electronic Arts, and that was all. I mean, there's others obviously not listed, but those are the heaviest hitters. For sure. I mean, you're already listing them. Xbox, Capcom, Ubisoft, Take-Two, Warner Brothers. I mean, these are all Nintendo. You literally everyone. So at this point, this is the 1 year that it's interesting to see that Sony has continued to decide to stay out and do their own thing. What will be doubly interesting is how much Xbox and these guys commit to E3 being their primary driver of delivering this information versus doing their own shit at different points in the year. Because we already know all of these people, more or less, not all of them, I shouldn't say all of them, that would be, wouldn't be right. Like, for example, Take-Two doesn't have their own event. They rely on other events, for example, and same with like Warner Brothers. But if you're talking about Microsoft and Nintendo, certainly, and even Ubisoft to a degree, they usually have their own shit. I'm going to be honest, I didn't expect this to happen. I didn't expect to see any of those names be frontliners. I expected it to be, I would have expected, like what I just mentioned, like Take-Two and Warner Brothers and stuff like that. I didn't expect Xbox and Nintendo to be frontlining this event.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little surprising. Yeah, it's a little surprising. I don't know. I don't know what the play is here. I don't know if they're being paid to be there or what, but
well, I'm sure they're getting paid something, but do they need the money? I don't think so. Usually it's the reverse, where they'd be paying the ESA to be part of the event, but I mean, at this point, the ESA needs anything they can get their hands on, so I don't know what the fuck the play is, other than to
we'll find out.
We're gonna find out. I signed up to restream E3 because they are requiring you to sign up for that shit. I don't even know I don't know what the requirements are. I just sent my application in because I like to do obviously the live streams as the events are happening and talk about the stuff as it's happening. But they're requiring an actual sign up form for that now this year. So I got in on that to see if I could be part of that elite group of, I'm talking over game trailers. Ooh. So yeah, anyway, we'll see. But yeah, the other thing here is that it's expected, so I think it was Mr. Jeff Grubb was talking about how he expects, anyway, Bethesda, since Microsoft now owns Bethesda, normally Bethesda would have their own conference, completely separate of everyone else's because they're a massive publisher. Now Microsoft owns Bethesda. So the expectation currently is that they will still be on their own. They will just likely be tacked either at the front or the back of Microsoft's conference. Probably the end. It will be Microsoft probably paraded directly into Bethesda. But that will be interesting because it'll be, they're just owned by Microsoft now. So like their whole stage presence isn't, talking about multi-platform releases and shit. This is just like another part of Microsoft's machine, right? Yep. So that's going to be kind of wild, for sure, to see what happens. What do you think? This is Bethesda's first Microsoft-owned E3 coverage, what do you think? Like, you have to imagine they've got like that one teaser thing that they're going to use to be like the big stirring shit up. Which game do you think they're going to use? Do you think it's going to be Starfield? Do you think it's going to be Elder Scrolls 6? Do you think it's going to be something?
It'll be Starfield.
Yeah, you think it's going to be Starfield's their big one, their big guns?
Yeah. Yeah. I think they're also going to say it's being released this year, but it won't come this year.
Yes. It's safe to say that if any game is announced for the end of any given year, the odds of it actually being released in that given year, slim.
Yeah.
But yeah, I could see that. I mean, if they somehow have kept Starfield under wraps enough for so long that it's legitimately going to come out in the same year that they properly publicly announce it at E3, that would be wild to me, because that never happens anymore. Like, nobody gets away with that shit anymore.
Yeah.
Let alone
impressive.
Bethesda. Bethesda of all people. So, or of all companies. So, we'll wait and see. So there you go. June 12th through 15th. We have our dates for E3. Book them. Time to get ready. Next up, they might have killed Mario, Jeff, just recently. They might have killed him off. However, Nintendo, in Mario's stead, is bringing out other bangers, like the perennial holiday classic Pac-Man 99, which is a Pac-Man Battle Royale.
No, that ain't it. That ain't it. I'll pass.
Why?
Money.
Why? But are people going to buy Pac-Man Battle Royale? Is that going to happen?
My guess is no. That would be my guess.
In fairness, Tetris 99 did do very well. But I don't know if the Pac-Man formula is going to fit into that the same way.
Never know.
I don't fucking know.
We'll see. We'll see. I ain't buying it, but we'll see.
We'll see how it goes over. But stop the fucking madness. I gotta be honest about like like them taking the Mario thing off of the friggin' store shelves and shit. I still think that's the fucking dumbest thing I've seen a company fucking do in my life. I'm so fucking weirded out by the fact that of all the companies that are going out of their way to like properly take care of like their previous IPs and their catalogs, that Microsoft, who has the thinnest fucking catalog out of the big three, is the one going so far out of their way to create new technologies, for Christ's sake, to be able to come up with ways to preserve and allow people to continue to play their previous games, while Nintendo and Sony are in a bidding war with each other to see who could be the biggest fucking anti-consumer asshole with their back catalog. It's so fucking odd to me, especially since PlayStation spent the first 3/4 of its existence being the backwards compatibility people.
Yeah.
That was their MO.
Yep.
And they're just like, flip the script.
Times have changed, Adam. Times have changed.
Truth is stranger than fiction, as they say. First-person survival game Abandoned was announced. This was actually a game that people were trying to dredge up information on for quite some time. It was a game that people assumed was part of what Hideo Kojima was hinting at for quite some time. We talked about in the podcast where he's been hinting at doing a horror game as his next thing. He's been preparing to do one, but there's not much else around that other than him having discussed that he wanted to do that. And then this was the game that a lot of people latched onto and tried to associate with him. As it turns out, now that they've announced it, the company themselves came out and said, sorry guys, as much as we would have loved to have Hideo Kojima be part of this crew, nope. And they released a little bit of a teaser. There's a gameplay. I would have watched it, but there's really nothing to see in it. We'll wait and see for some gameplay, maybe, but very atmospheric first-person shooter, or first-person, I shouldn't say shooter, but first-person horror game. Definitely looks visually very interesting, very desaturated, almost to the point where it's hard to see stuff, but I suspect that's probably part of the reason why they went that route. Heavily in the woods. And you know what I did notice about it, that impressed me, is that video games have a really hard time dealing with making being in the woods look realistic. Because trees are fucking hard to do. Specifically, they're hard to do, like, scale properly or make it look like it's the proper scale on a screen, I think is part of the problem. And the other thing is that the variety of trees, of how they look, is difficult to pull off. There's Speed Tree is an entire program existing just to try and make trees that don't look like one another and just populate the world so that you don't have to individually put in fucking trees. And then the density of trees is a problem, just to render the shit. This looks like it's doing a really good job of actually making the shit look like you're in the woods. Trees aren't like awkwardly oversized, cartoony kind of shit that you often see in games. Even when they're trying to be realistic for some reason, trees just always look odd and out of place. So that was the only thing that stood out to me, especially since that was all that we really saw in this teaser video. But I like to see it, because the only other game that I can think of that kind of does the woods thing okay is the Hunter series, the games, the Hunter, like we're literally hunting animals and shit. They do a pretty okay job. But if you're somebody like us that grew up living on the edge of the woods and spending a lot of our time in the woods, and then you play a video game where they try to make you think that you're in the woods, it's the most awkward, fucking janky looking thing in the world to me. It just doesn't make sense at all. It's obviously so much easier to do a cityscape than it is to do the woods, but all the same, yeah. A game, any game, it's like the Blair Witch Project was very successful because the woods can be a scary place just by the nature of it being the fucking woods.
It's true.
So if you get the woods down right in a video game, that shit'll fuck you right up. So we'll see how that goes, and when we get a gameplay trailer, maybe we'll take a peek here on the podcast. Some rare major esports news dropped this week, Mr. Black.
Oh.
100 Thieves, who many people, chirp all the time for mostly selling a lot of t-shirts and sweaters. Although, damn it, is he ever doing a good job at selling those t-shirts and sweaters? They have announced 2 new co-owners, and unsurprisingly, honestly, one is Valkyrie, and then the other is Courage, who are both relatively close friends of Nadeshot to begin with, and previous co-workers to various degrees. But they are now both co-owners of 100 Thieves. So now they've got this trinity of owner, co-owner at the top. And all the best to them. Valkyrie has been like on her own blowing up on social media platforming in general here in the last couple of weeks. She's starting to do a lot of videography work with other people as well, and she's just fucking honestly, she's probably almost as valuable on the social media side as Nadeshot himself at this point. So having her be there is not surprising. And then of course Courage and Nate are basically just, it'd be like you and I owning a business at that point together. Is basically what that is. And I'm surprised it didn't. I actually already thought that Courage was part owner of 100 Thieves as it stands. So there you go. He now officially is, I guess. But yeah, that's there you go. So congrats to those two. 100 Thieves continuing to be arguably one of the 3 viable esports organizations in North America. And to some degree Europe, honestly.
It's more than just I think they're more so a gaming brand than they are.
Well, they know that's
esport agents, like an esport, like they have esport teams,
and they've in fairness to them, I know I memed about the fact that they sell t-shirts and sweaters, because that is the meme about them. They've won a fair amount of legitimate tournaments here in the last year.
They've got legit players.
They've got legit players, but they're also smart enough to know that especially right now, like we just talked about this last week, esports fucking sucks some dong, bro. Like you don't make money in esports just legitimately being in there for an esport. I mean, I guess no more than perhaps even any franchise of any sporting goods or any sporting franchise. So it doesn't matter, basketball, football, whatever, selling jerseys, selling memorabilia, selling fucking getting fans' asses in the seats is that's what makes you money. Winning the championships helps drive those sales, but ultimately it's the sale of those goods that makes the team money. It's not just winning tournaments.
They're making. I'm talking up my ass, but I'm probably pretty close. They're making probably 80%, 85%, 90% of their money off brands. They're
Yeah.
not, brands and merch. Like those two categories probably making up 80-90% of their revenue, and the other bits are coming from the legit esports side of things, or other maybe different side ventures that they do within that. But it's a branding deal. They've got big personalities with large followings. Their brand is awesome. It looks good. It sounds good. They've got this image of like a family, a team. Even though they are a family and a team, it's just like it's part of the lifestyle branding image that they got going on there. So it's working for them. So good on them, man.
Do you
Good
think
on
they're
them.
profitable at this point?
Oh, I would
Or
imagine so. I
yeah?
would imagine they've probably been long profitable. I don't see how they would be losing money at this point. I mean, early on, yeah, with like their facility and all this other stuff. I'm sure they still have debt, but I
Mm.
mean, they're making millions of dollars, man. All of them. They're
When
profiting.
you start to see Nate Shot spending 80% of his time on a golf course and then doing like golfing vlogs with his dad, you know he's doing pretty
They're doing
okay.
well, man. They deserve it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they're killing it. Let's see. Speaking of golf, unintentional fucking segue there. Let the battle of golf begin. So with 2K and EA now both going to be doing golf games, which I don't think has ever happened before. It's been a very long time since EA has had any golf competition whatsoever. We are starting to see how they're going to compete. So 2K recently locked up Tiger Woods for their games. He's now going to be their brand ambassador. So 2K21 going to have Tiger in the game. He's going to probably bring as much to the table for them as he can with his name and any connections that he has. However, of course, EA is still massive in comparison to this team doing 2K21 golf, a number of which, by the way, are here in Halifax, or in Nova Scotia, I should say, the developer for that game. So EA has gone out and said, all right, well, you might have taken Tiger Woods. We're going to take all 4 majors. So the 4 majors in golf will be exclusive to EA's golf game, at least for this coming round of golf anyway. And if you don't know what the 4 majors are, well, of course, they are the Masters, the PGA Championship, the US Open Championship, and the Open Championship. So they just announced this via saying at first that Augusta was coming, Augusta, Georgia, was coming to the list. That was kind of awkward because Georgia's been a bit of a hot button topic given their the voting thing that's been going on down in the States with them. A lot of sports have been kind of distancing themselves from any event that happens within the state. But all the same, the 4 majors are going to be apparently exclusive to EA's golf game, and we'll see how that goes for them. Honestly, when it comes to a golf game, I don't care about the tournaments. If the course is there, great. But really, I'm just interested in it. They could be completely fabricated courses.
Yeah, who cares?
If
It's
the
not like
golf
I'm really
is
winning the U.S. Open, is
if the golf is fun,
who cares what it's called?
that's all I'm interested in, right? Like fuck, if the courses are good and the golf mechanics are fun, then that's all a golf game needs to be. And it's bonus if you can get like known golfers to be able to play like your favorite players and shit. Obviously, that's a good added bonus. But I don't think anyone's sitting there. I don't think that. Well, I shouldn't say anyone. I don't think that many people are sitting there going, "Oh, well, now I have to buy EA's golf game because it's the only place where I can play for the green jacket with my created golfer." I don't think that's necessarily the case. I think 2K21 is right on the verge of having some really amazing shit. Their game is very good. I've played a fair amount of it and reviewed it. I think the most potent thing for them is that they're way ahead of the game in the course creator aspect. Their course creator is crazy detailed, and I don't think it's really been used to its full potential yet. And if they can find a way to get more people involved in making their own courses and whatnot, I think it's going to be an enormous driver for people, no pun intended, for people to get involved and play a game like that, because anytime you can get people making fun and unique golf courses for people to go out and play, because I mean, everyone's played golf games in the last 20 years. They've all played, TPC Sawgrass and Augusta, Georgia, and they've done the links in Scotland. Like, everyone's played this courses a bajillion times. But if somebody can make like a fun new course and it's done with like the realistic tile sets that these games have, I think that's fucking dope. And it's also why on Steam, for example, stuff like Golf with Your Friends, which is like mini putt, does as well as it does because they've got custom courses and people come up with these crazy, amazing designs, and you just go and you have a different experience every time you play the game. So I think that's I think what I'm going to be looking for. Does EA have a course creator in their next golf game? I think that's what I'm most intrigued with because it will be a major determining or differentiating factor between the two franchises, 2K and EA, if one has a course creator and the other does not. Oh, also, I'm just gonna say, still excited for Mario Golf. Just gonna slide that in there. My body's ready for some Mario Golf. I need to play that game. With Sony pushing for $70. This is just because the news was short. I needed to come up with a couple of just kind of fun little things for us to talk about together here. With Sony pushing for $70 US as the standard asking price for a new game, up from $60 US in the previous couple of generations. So 70. So that's $80 Canadian at this point. You're paying $79.99 plus tax, $90 Canadian for a game. Are you comfortable with that? And then I just have his other notes here, with free-to-play games and reduced cost games with microtransactions, they were originally made, the company has admitted this, they were made to extract $100 per player instead of $60 per player on the one-time purchase. So they already have that in existence. So why them coming out and saying, their excuse right now is the cost of creating a game has gone up, so we have to raise the cost of the games to offset that. And there is a lot of evidence to show that that's totally not the case at all. But regardless, what are your thoughts about games, especially as we've been seeing them come out right now, coming out at that kind of a price? Do you think that is going to be something that sticks in the long term? And are you even yourself comfortable as somebody who buys a game once in a while, okay with a $70 or in this case $80 for us entry fee?
I mean, I thought we were already there.
Yeah, well, they started about a few months ago. Sony just dropped their first AAA title, like in-house stuff was there. So we're starting to see more and more of them. Obviously, people will follow suit. That was what people knew it was coming.
I mean, I think the last two games I bought were like almost $100 each. I'm pretty sure. Like I know The Last of Us 2 I bought was like almost $100. I don't know what other one I bought.
I think that was one of Sony's first ones that they did the full thing on was The Last of Us 2.
Listen, I got honestly, I don't at this point, me spending $80 on a game, opposed to what was it before, like $60, still $60 plus tax, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the difference between $80 and $100 for a game, it's whatever to me personally.
Yeah.
I know the $20 difference to some people is a lot of money, but chances are if you're spending $80 on a game, you're going to spend the $100. I don't think that is going to deter too many people from not buying the game they want. Yeah, it's a shame when you see the price of games going up so much, but everything else is going up. Like everything. Like the cost of living, go buy groceries, put gas in your car. I mean, it is 2021. We have had games essentially the same price for like 2 generations. It felt like, no joke, like from late Xbox 360 or like PS3 all the way till now. It's been the same price. So if it goes up an extra, 10%, 15%, it's not really the end of the world, at least for me. And I only buy so many games anyway. So for me, it's whatever. I also think the fact that you do have things like Game Pass and you're spending monthly, it kind of makes sense that games are getting a little bit more expensive. It kind of doubles down. Like you almost, it could even almost work in their favor where they're like, you know what? Hey, we got Game Pass and that is what it is.
Works for Microsoft, doesn't work for Sony.
It doesn't work for Sony, but for Microsoft, it's like, hey, yeah, our games are a little bit more expensive, but you can also just get Game Pass and save yourself even more money. It's like psychologically, They're like they're swindling you because they go, hey, you know, Xbox games are going to go up to $100 a pop if you live in Canada. Or you can just buy this Game Pass and play it on day one, and your profit, you're saving even more money as a consumer, right? So yeah, this is
Yeah,
to be expected. I'm
so
surprised it didn't happen sooner.
I don't necessarily have a big issue with the price going up so much as their reasoning for why it's going up. I just want them to be fucking honest. Look,
Yeah,
you're
they're not
just
going to be honest though, man.
yeah,
It's just some
but like
corporate shit, dude. Come on, man.
they're raising the price because they will set the price to what the market will bear, and whatever the market will bear, they will charge for a game. Just like any other commodity, whatever the market will bear, they will fucking charge that amount of money. Um, it's just when the advent of free to play and whatnot uh has certainly molded how I know I look at games now. And I think more than anything personally, in the indie game market has molded how I look at games now.
Yeah.
So for me, when I sit down and look at a game, I say, what am I getting out of this experience? For me, everyone has to ask themselves what they want out of the game, right? And some people have like a certain like dollar amount per hour that they're willing to shill out for anything, whether it's a movie or how many hours they're watching Netflix or whatever the fuck, right?
Yeah.
When it comes to a game, for me, the amount of entertainment hours and value per dollar for a lot of games, I would say the majority of games, is dog shit. You're
Yeah.
looking at AAA games that are mostly around
10 hours, 8, 10
six
hours.
6 to 10 hours. 12 is like
Yeah, you don't see that
getting
too
rare.
often.
And if
Yeah.
you're going past that, you're in a very select genre specific kind of a scenario, right?
Yeah.
And those games are charging the same amount of money as a game that is, let's say, 60 hours long, 80 hours long, with the same fidelity of visual and audio experience, perhaps in some cases even lesser
Yeah, but
than that.
longer games doesn't necessarily mean better value,
It doesn't.
right?
It doesn't.
So
If it
so
doesn't entertain you the whole time, but if it's entertaining for you the whole time, it's like the same as a movie being 4 hours long when it really only needed to be 2 hours long, and you fell asleep after the first 2 hours. You really only paid for the first 2 hours of that movie.
yeah, I mean, for me, I look at it a little bit differently. Like, I don't give a I really like when I buy a game, I'm not thinking, oh man, I got $100 here, and if I divide my $100 into 8 hours, I'm getting so much. I'm spending so much per hour for entertainment. I don't look at it like that. Um, if I want a game, I'm just gonna buy it. And overall, it's either my experience is good or it isn't. And that equates to if it was worth my money or not. I'm at the point in video games where I just spend the money to buy a game, and I would say 80% of the time I don't even play the game. Like I'm not even joking. Like I have more games than not where I've purchased a game and I've never played it. Like Elder Scrolls Online, I bought like the Imperial or the whatever edition that they had out when it
Yeah,
first
yeah,
came
yeah.
out. Never played it. The new Star Wars game that they had that was like sort of Dark Soulsy, bought it, never played it. The Resident Evil 3 remake, bought it, never played it. I mean, it just goes on and on. I mean, I could name, if I go on my Steam account right now, I could name 30 games that I bought and never played. Hey, listen, I know I'm different than most people. Most people will buy their games and play them,
Probably play some of it.
probably play some of it.
Yeah.
But like the way I look at video games is like the way I look at movies. I'm spending a bit of money. I'm at the point where I can go to the movie theater. I know it's going to cost me $80 to take me and my wife out there, get popcorn, drinks, get a good seat, good tickets or whatever, and I'm spending $80. I don't even look at it as I'm spending $80. I just look at it as I'm going out to have a good time. And as long as it's in that reasonable budget, it's like when I go to eat, right? I go out to eat and I don't, if I spend $120, $130 on a meal, as long as I enjoyed the meal, it's okay to me. Like The difference between me spending $130 on a meal and $200 on a meal, it's whatever. As long as my experience is good, then I'm not going to bitch about it. If my experience isn't good, bad service, bad food, whatever, I'll just never buy that. I'll just never go there again. It's the same thing with a company that I buy for video games. If I play a game like Fallout 76 and the game is hot garbage and I spent $100 on it, you better be damn right I'm not buying any more Fallout games. And I'm going to take a doubly closer look at Bethesda in general to see what they're doing in the future. If it was a good experience, whether the Fallout 76 was 8 hours or 80 hours, it's irrelevant to me. As long as I had a good time and the $100 I spent, I'm there to support the cause. Like, that's how I look at it. I don't know. Maybe not every, and I'm sure
well, everyone has different. That's why I said everyone has different metrics, right? For like what they consider. So for me, I fall somewhere in the middle. I'll say that like you, if it's a good experience, it could be a 3-hour long game, and if I had a great time, then usually I'm okay with that. But there is for me there is a dollar amount where I say, okay, I feel like I'm getting fucking fleeced here. Like if I played a 3-hour game and it was fucking god tier, like let's say Journey, one of the few games I've ever given a perfect score for my review system. Journey, I think, is one of the best games ever made. It's only about a fucking hour and a half to beat on a good day.
It's like $20 game.
If Journey cost you $80 fucking dollars, I don't care if that thing sucked your dick at the end of the time you finish the game. You're going to look back at that, and that's going to change your experience with the game or how you looked at it. You're like, yeah, this was a dope game, but it was an hour and a half, and I just spent $80 on it, right? So for me, there's like a bit of a there's an intersection for me when I look at games. So that's why I said indie games kind of changed my view on it. So like when I play Hades, or actually two good examples. So two indie games, Hades and then the Retro Mania wrestling games, both indie games. Both the same price. Actually, both of them like $34.99 on Steam. And you go in and you play those two games, and it is clear as fucking day which of these two games is worth $34.99, and which of these two games is not in a fucking million years worth $34 to pretty much anyone, really. Like and I think in the AAA segment, more games fall on the side of there's not a chance in fucking hell this is worth $80 than games that it's actually worth $80.
That's because they just slap. A lot of the time is they just slap AAA on a game that is a bona fide indie game. It's like you're looking at a developer that has a big team but got the sub team, they got the B or C team working on this thing, and they go, well, hey, it came from this developer, so we're just gonna slap AAA title on it, and it's really not that. Indie games, I got to work harder for your stuff. It's that good old analogy of like, hey, a really good looking lady or a really good looking guy doesn't have to work as hard to attract a mate. You know what I mean? Like you kind of show up and people kind of gravitate towards you. If you're on the not so attractive side, or you don't have that aura around you or that thing, you got to work harder. You got to show everybody like, hey, I'm a good person, get to know me, but a lot of people are just like, whatever. It's the same thing. I think in video games where, they're just too quick to slap something out and put a big price tag on it because they got the backing of a name or a track record, and then they abuse that track record, which we've seen now from CD Projekt Red. We've seen it from what was the other one that did it there recently? There was another one. There was another developer that also went tits up, did some dumb shit. And wait, CD Projekt Red. No, they are the ones that did what's it called? The Witcher, right?
The Witcher,
they did Witcher. Okay, so it is them. So yeah, they had the good grace, right? The good.
Yeah,
that's what everybody was saying. Hey, it's the makers of The Witcher. What could go wrong?
Yeah.
Right. Wait. What could go? What could go wrong?
It's got the history.
Yeah, everything can go wrong, right?
To your point about if you enjoyed it, then it's fine. When it comes to free-to-play games, I think that's why they can oftentimes make so much more money for a developer than a single purchase. When somebody buys like a single purchase $60 game, they know that they've already spent $60 on it. They feel like they've already spent their money, that's it. if you give somebody a free-to-play game and they start playing it and they really enjoy themselves, and you give them a bunch of like smaller microtransactions, there's a reason why people will spend $100 to $120 instead of $60. And it's because they enjoy their time, they feel like they're getting their value, and they're willing to part ways with it. But if you
and they can choose, and they can specifically choose in game what they want to buy and what they don't want to buy.
Yeah.
Like when you go to the store, you get or if you're downloading the game on digital, you're clicking a purchase now button, and that's it. Or if you're in the store
and you don't know if you're going to like the game yet.
Exactly. It's a crapshoot, right? You look at the back, you look at the pictures, maybe you've watched a review.
There's no demos anymore.
There's nothing. So it's a crapshoot. So sometimes, people often then when they spend their money, they go in with an expectation that like, hey, I spent my hard-earned money. I'm expecting to have a good time.
Yeah.
When the good time doesn't happen, that's when they go, what the fuck? And they get extra mad. And they're like, screw this. And they feel like they got ripped off or they didn't get value. With the free-to-play and the microtransactions, people can go, they don't have a gun to their head saying, hey, if you want to play, you got to do this. Now, some games are egregious with it, and they're like, it's pay to win. But gamers see through that shit so easily now. And you can still, exactly. You didn't pay anything to play the game to begin with. So if you don't like it, you just don't play. And
you didn't lose anything.
You lose nothing.
Yeah.
You might have lost your time that you spent a little bit of time in there, but I'd rather lose a little bit of time than lose a little bit of time and my $100.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, you know what I mean?
That's a big difference.
It's a huge difference. And you'll notice people will spend more money on microtransactions when they want to spend it, opposed to being told you have to spend this to do it, because then people start thinking, what's the catch? We're waiting for the other side of the coin to flip.
Yep.
And when they realize that it's not what they signed up for, then it's a bad time.
Yeah, so, there's a reason. I'll end it on this, the little note that I have here. So when Call of Duty originally, when Fortnite became a thing, and then Call of Duty's first attempt to break into that market was Blackout. And Blackout was a fucking massive failure. That was an absolute mess. And it was a mess for a couple reasons. I mean, for many reasons. But in this regard, it was a mess because they locked it behind a paywall. You had to buy the main game to get access to the Battle Royale mode.
Yeah.
And it failed miserably. They immediately 180 that shit and come out with Warzone next, make it free. And they were so concerned that this was going to hurt the main game sales that they took it to their stake and shareholder meeting and said, hey, you should expect somewhere between 10 and 15% lower sales of the main game because we think Warzone is going to be so popular that it's going to cannibalize the sales of the main franchise. And just be prepared for that. And so they went out, they released Warzone, and against all odds, because they were smart about it, they put some guns where they said if you want to unlock them for Warzone, you got to own the main game, but you don't have to. It's not like these guns are a necessity to play Warzone with. But if you want that shit and you see somebody else have it, you're like, where the fuck did you get it? Well, you get it, own the main Call of Duty game, and you play the multiplayer over there, you unlock it, you bring it over to Warzone. But the result of that is they actually had like a 30 to 40% increase in sales of the main franchise off of Warzone's back. And that is no small fucking potatoes when you know that Call of Duty sells somewhere between 20 and 30 million copies a year. Yeah. So now they're in the 35 to 40, in some instances, copies because of a free-to-play, completely open, spend what you want to spend situation. Crazier still is Call of Duty Mobile made $10 billion in 2020. $10 billion. You know what the entire mobile market made? 70. $1 in $7 in the entire mobile market went to Call of Duty Mobile.
They're printing money over there. Printing it. They're printing it faster than the actual economy right now, than the government's just pumping money through. They're trying to keep up with the Call of Duty printing over there. They can't keep up.
So, like, if you needed any other indication that free-to-play games and the mobile market are going to be dictating most of what you see moving forward in gaming, look no further. And when you factor in stuff like Sony trying to push the point of boxed games going for $70 a pop starting, that's only going to expedite that process.
Yeah.
And when they start telling people, oh, it's because games cost more money to make, and then you look at literally every factor of making a video game today and how it's cheaper than it was 20 years ago, you're not going to win any fucking votes on that one either. And so you're just going to drive people to Game Pass. I really don't know what Sony's going to fucking do here. Like, they're digging their own grave. They're in the lead right now, and they've got some time, but they're fucking digging deep. I don't know what they've got in the fucking vault that they're gonna pull out for this shit, but they're not heavily involved in the mobile market, really. They just bought an esports brand because they're literally insane, and they have no answer to Game Pass, which they're driving people to by charging $7 billion for a fucking copy of their games and not having a counter service of their own. And they're selling their fucking their exclusives like MLB The Show to the Game Pass. So it's like, what the fuck is Sony doing right now? If anyone at Sony is saying this is fine, is it really? Like, is it fine? Are you sure it's okay? Because I don't think it is. But we'll have to wait and see. Maybe we'll see what they do for E3. Well, not E3. Alongside E3, because they're not even taking part of E3. Sony's just their own island.
They're just doing their own thing.
Doing their own thing.
We'll see if it works.
So the last little thing here, just just for fun, we've got Looper did an article here on the top 31 what Metacritics turned out to be near perfect games all time on this list. I thought we'd take a look at some of these and see if we agree, if we played them first of all, and then if we think that they're actually deserving of near perfect scores. You ready for this rundown, Mr. Black?
All right, I'm ready.
First up, Grand Theft Auto 3, the double pack specifically, 3 and Vice City. I mean, absolutely.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
Does it get much better than 3 and Vice City? I actually think 3 and Vice City are better than 4 and 5. So, I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy, but I'm pretty sure that those two are definitely worthy of that title. Metal Gear Solid 2 Sons of Liberty.
That's a good one.
It is a good one. I'm not even a fan of Metal Gear, but if you're going to choose one, that's probably the one to run with.
I like Solid Snake, but...
Yeah. The first Gran Turismo.
Sure.
I would have gone with A-Spec personally. I don't know about the first Gran Turismo, but A-Spec for sure. This one's controversial as fuck amongst the Zelda community. The Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker.
I've never played it, so I don't know.
So I played it. I really liked it, but people in the Zelda community hate this video game. They fucking hate it. I don't know why, but they hate it. I think it's one of the best Zelda games in the entire franchise, personally. But yeah, there you go. Half-Life. I mean, yeah, it's a no-brainer. The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim.
I don't think so, man. I can't say it's a damn near perfect game.
It's not even a damn near perfect Elder Scrolls game.
Yeah.
Another hotly contested Zelda game, Legend of Zelda: The Twilight Princess, which I know you wouldn't have played because you didn't play any of the Zelda games, pretty much. So, I only played a small bit of it. It's like the darker themed Legend of Zelda. I did enjoy it because of that. It was more adult. It wasn't so rooted in the childish, cartoony type stuff, which I think is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But it was nice to see a different take, and I kind of hope they go back to this at some point. I want to see a grittier Legend of Zelda kind of like this at some point. So I'm okay with that being there. Mass Effect 2. Abso-fucking-lutely. It's the best Mass Effect game. It changed the entire genre. And we're still seeing people copy Mass Effect 2 right now. In fact, I played it yesterday. It's called Outriders.
There it is.
Tekken 3. Man, Tekken 3 specifically. Okay. Sure. I guess. Why not? I mean, I was so bad at the Tekken games. I was bad at every fighting game, but Tekken, the fact that you could, like, it was 3D space.
Yeah.
You could do that fucked me right up. It's just useless. Batman Arkham City. I could see that. The Arkham games are all pretty fucking dope. So I'm okay with that. The Orange Box, Half-Life 2, and Portal would be included in that. I think that's...
Sure.
Yes. Resident Evil 4.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Uncharted 2, Among Thieves.
I've heard good things about it.
Kind of hard
Never
to...
played it, but yeah.
Yeah, kind of hard to argue with the Uncharted stuff. I mean, it's Naughty Dog. If it's Naughty Dog, there's a good chance that it's a damn good game. I'm actually impressed this is on this list, to be honest with you. GoldenEye 007.
Yes. Yes. Damn near perfect.
Yes. Absolutely. Here's a question. Here's a question for you. Technically, Perfect Dark is literally
A better game.
the GoldenEye 007, but infinitely better in every possible category, and yet GoldenEye is on this list. And
Yeah, why not?
Fuck it. BioShock, the first BioShock.
I really like that game.
Yes.
I beat it.
I think that BioShock should have been one and done, because I played BioShock 1, 2, and Infinite, and none of them quite captured everything that BioShock was in the first game. So, but I'm totally down for BioShock on this list. This is still one of the most popular arcade games of all time. NFL, or just games in general, is NFL 2K1. It's the OG 2K.
Classic.
Up there with Blitz. NFL Blitz, the arcade cabinet for Blitz. It's probably one of the most popular arcade cabinets to ever be created as well. But definitely a classic. Halo Combat Evolved, the first Halo. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, after GoldenEye specifically, Halo Combat Evolved proved that first-person shooters on a console were something that people should totally do. And kind of kicked off that entire process. Super Mario Odyssey. I think you played the first one, didn't you?
I did. Yes. It was a good game.
I can get behind that. Odyssey was a good game. I was like the first one to really do like the 3D space, like running around the balls and shit. That, again, fucked me right up, but it's good. Metroid Prime, GameCube Metroid Prime. Did you play that one?
I've never played that one.
It was one of 3 games I owned on my GameCube. That's 3. That, Crystal Chronicles, and, what the fuck was the third game that I owned on my GameCube? Anyway, very good game. So yes, for sure. Oh, coincidentally, Perfect Dark is actually on this list. Okay, so we're safe. Yes. If GoldenEye is on this list, you have to put Perfect Dark on the list by default, because it's the same fucking game. Except better. It's just it. Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Suck my dick.
Yeah, I don't know how that's on there.
No. It's not even a near perfect Zelda game.
Yeah, I don't know how that's up there.
That's fucking weird. Grand Theft Auto 5, yes, okay, obviously. I mean, Grand Theft Auto 5, for me, I really liked the character delivery in 5. I couldn't care less about the story or anything, but the characters were done better than any other Grand Theft Auto game I think that I ever played. But the story was fucking whatever. And Grand Theft Auto 5 Online has carried the shit out of that game.
Yeah.
For sure. Red Dead Redemption 2. I played the first one. I didn't play the second. Did you play it?
I played a little bit, and I don't think it's a perfect game either.
Wait, hold on now. Is this listed fucking twice? Am I? Oh no, Odyssey. Oh no, you played Galaxy. I was getting them conflated.
And you played Odyssey.
Oh, did you play Odyssey as well? So I also, I played Odyssey, but I played a little bit of Galaxy. So we did like a bit of the reverse. But Galaxy 1 and 2 are on this list. Yes, they are both fucking damn near perfect video games. It's just kind of a no-brainer. The original Soul Calibur. Sure, I guess. I guess if Tekken 3 is on this list, it makes sense that Soul Calibur managed to find its way on here.
Yeah.
I think Soul Calibur 2 might have been a better choice. But all the same. Grand Theft Auto 4? Sure. Yeah. Okay. Except for the fact that we had to listen to Hey Nico, Cousin, Let's Go Bowling every 5 goddamn seconds. For the love of God, please stop. I don't want to go bowling, and if I did, I don't want to go with you. So just stop calling me. This is a no-brainer. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2.
It's a good one.
It's literally one of the best sports games ever made. across any category. And it's crazy to think that it's a skateboarding game that took that down. The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, I know, is not on Jeff's long list of games that he enjoys.
It's not. Listen.
But for me, more than anything, because it was like the first open world action adventure in 3D space, and the fact that they got everything as right as they did, I think by itself is commendable. That they even same with with Super Mario 64, right? It's the same thing. First platformer, 3D space, somehow managed to fucking crush it. Whoever was at Nintendo at that time, they were all fucking on some crazy shit, because they pulled it all off. Something big. And that's it. That's the list. There you go. I think it's that's Metacritic. That's
list, yeah.
So that's like the culmination of all the critic scores and stuff like that. And obviously there will be some that wouldn't have been on the list just because they aren't listed on enough sites. But it's not a bad list. A lot of them are to be expected. I think some of them are a little bit of an odd standout, but there you go. And now it's time, Mr. Black, to sell out for ourselves.
Patreon.com/LagTV. Head on over there, throw some money at the screen, support the podcast. If you don't want to throw money, make sure you hit the like button on the YouTube. Leave a review on the Spotify's and the iTunes and anywhere that you can leave a review. Share it with your friends. And if you want to go an extra step further, you can support a sponsor. We've got NordVPN. And actually, right now, NordVPN's got an extra special going on. Instead of 68% off, it is now 70% off.
Oh, come on!
I know.
They straddled it.
I know. They did.
Bro!
They did. I don't make up the prices, all right? I just follow them. All right, 70% off when you use the promo code OTT, okay. NordVPN.com/OTT. Stay safe, stay anonymous, watch different regions of Netflix, watch region blocked content, whether you're in the Great Firewall of China where you can't access the interwebs. You can with NordVPN. You can. And when you have up to 6 simultaneous devices, you only need 1 account per household. Just 1. You can stream on the servers, game on the servers, stream and game on the servers. You can do all that fun stuff when you use NordVPN. Head on over there, use the promo code OTT, and get 70% off.
If I am streaming and gaming on NordVPN, Mr. Black, and I need to be able to set myself up as a first-time streamer, and I need some equipment, where can I go?
Thought you'd never ask, Adam. You can go to Elgato. Link is in the description below here on YouTube, or you can just go on Amazon. You can go to their website, check out their products. Doesn't matter if you're a streamer or not. They're going to have equipment there that you can use, whether it's key lighting, which is what I'm using right now, whether it's a stream deck, to hotkey, macro key, anything on your computer, from turning it off, turning it on, opening up a podcast, opening up a video game, checking your percentage of your CPU or your GPU, anything and everything. You can put your computer into sleep mode, wake it up, run ads if you're a streamer, do whatever you want. You can hotkey to go to Pornhub if that's where you want to go. In specific categories, you could have a Pornhub button and the logo. Click on that, and then you've got you can start with the A's and go from amateur to the B's, to the big boned women, to the C's, to the Cougars. You could go D for doggy. You can go E.
I'm appreciating how you're trying to somehow keep this still kosher with your category.
Hey, I had to go alphabetical. Hey, listen, you can do that with your Stream Deck. You can have whatever category you want. Click on a button, it's going to open up your favorite category. All right, you can do whatever. Hey, listen, if you don't want to go to Pornhub, you can use the same thing for your favorite streamers. You could have Nova War on there. You could have Maximus on there. You can have your summits and your courages and your whatever. You can have them all linked up there with their logos. Click on it's going to open up. So check out Elgato. They are a big supporter of the podcast, and they've actually got really dope products, from lighting to microphones to stream decks to sound dampening. I mean, they've got it all now. Green screens. Go check them out. And that's it.
Fantastic. And now it's time for
movies, TV,
The Witcher Season 2 is officially wrapped up production, Mr. Black. It's done and dusted.
It's happened.
And so now we just wait. I don't know. Do we have a date for that yet?
My guess is it's going to be in the fall.
Probably, right?
Would make sense.
Yeah. But yeah, it's done. You saw Henry Cavill with the little fucking board and yippee skippy. There you go. It's coming. Loki trailer dropped, Mr. Black, for the Disney Plus series that they're doing for Loki.
I saw that. Yeah.
And all I can say is, wow.
Yeah, I think it looks good.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow.
Owen Wilson somehow convinced somebody to put him in the MCU, and I'm there for it.
Wow.
I think they're gonna make a great pair, honestly.
Yeah,
I think they're gonna be fucking funny together. Owen Wilson's a great, like, he's a guy that I don't know if he would stand. He stands all that well on his own, but if you get him with somebody who he can play off of.
Hey, he's charismatic. He's just a likable guy.
He's just so fucking likable, right?
Yeah.
That's the way. Yeah, I think that's how you play him. And I'll watch it just for Owen Wilson. To be honest, I'll watch it just for that. I'm sure it's gonna be a good show otherwise, but I can't remember the last time I saw Owen Wilson in a fucking movie. So, wow. Props to his agent for pulling that one off. Well done. And also, Space Jam: A New Legacy trailer also dropped in there, where we saw just about every fucking Disney character in existence in the background audience, to the point where it became a meme on Twitter for a while of how many people can we Photoshop into the fucking.
I mean, there's
crowd.
even Game of Thrones in there at one point.
Yeah, they were putting everything they get in there.
They threw it all in there.
Threw it all in there.
Threw it all. Why not?
But I mean, you know what? It looked like a Space Jam movie, and it looked like, as we expected. LeBron James, while not a stellar actor, will be better than Michael Jordan because, well, that wasn't a high bar to begin with. But it's a Space Jam movie.
It's a Space Jam movie.
And
I'm sure it'll be fine.
They like remixed the Space Jam theme a bit, so you got at least got a little taste of the Space Jam theme. But yeah, that was it, and that's literally.
Oh, you didn't hear about this? I got big. There's a bit of movie related news. So
okay, hit me.
So you know Knives Out, right? You've enjoyed that, the Rian Johnson film, the Clue-like show.
Yes, they've got two more coming, and I think Rian Johnson and Daniel Craig are going to make 100 schmil a pop on that bad boy.
Netflix purchased the rights to Knives Out 2 and 3 for $460 million.
Huh!
Daniel Craig, Rian Johnson, and another guy, I think he's the producer, they are guaranteed $100 million apiece. And then with the other $160 million, they got to film 2 movies.
I guess in fairness, the expense from those movies come pretty much exclusively from the actors in which they hire for the movies.
Yeah, I mean, Netflix is... They are not making a return on investment on this. This is them spending a shit ton of money to have 2 movies that are going to be on their platform. They're getting in bed with Rian Johnson and Daniel Craig. There's probably something in the contract where they're going to have to do some sort of other projects with them at some point. And I think this is just Netflix allowing and giving Rian Johnson full-blown creative freedom, as in, like, we're writing you a $460 million check. There's 2 caveats. The first is Daniel Craig has to star in both of them. That's it. The second one is go spend your money. That's pretty much it. So Rian Johnson gets to make 2 more of these Clue movies, which are probably going to cost him like $40-50 million a movie to make. And then everybody's just going to make $100 million. That moment when Rian Johnson is about to make infinitely more money off Knives Out than what he ever did with Star Wars, and he was probably thinking Star Wars is going to be his kumbaya, but instead it's Knives Out.
Look, this is I mean, that's obviously got to be a play for more projects in the future with both gentlemen, right? Obviously. because like you said, there's no way they make their money back
No,
on
not even
Knives Out 2 and 3.
not even close. Now, Knives Out made a lot of money worldwide, but I mean,
Is it a movie that people are going to subscribe to Netflix for to see?
I don't think so. I think there will be some, but I think what it is just them to have this prestigious lineup of movies. They want to throw their dick on the ground and say,
Yeah.
listen, we've got Ryan Johnson, we got Daniel Craig, we got them making 2 movies for us exclusively. I think they're going to do the same for others. And there's just such a huge streaming war right now, and everybody's throwing endless amounts of money. They're basically burning money. These streaming services are burning money trying to out dick each other. It's kind of like the esports world a little bit, where like there is a point in time, and it's still like this, like honestly, where you've got a gaming company that's going, hey, there's tons of games out here. Listen, we're just gonna buy the eyes. We're just gonna spend lots of money. We're not gonna make this money back, but we're gonna be out there, and we're gonna be out there more in the competition. So we're just gonna try and starve them out, and we're just gonna say, hey, this is the thing. I mean, esports does it all the time. Somebody could pay a streamer $100,000 to play a game for fucking 4 hours, and they might end up making $20,000 in sale on it. But to them, it's whatever. They got in front of that many people. They had the spotlight. They had their moment, and more so than what the competition has. I think that's what Netflix is doing. Netflix right now saying we got a ton of money. They're burning money. Like, they're still losing money. Like, Netflix is still not like fucking profitable. These guys are burning money. They all are.
It's all a gamble on like who's going to be the last like 1 or 2 standing.
Yeah, and who's gonna, it's just it's a build up to see who can get like a couple hundred million, few hundred million subscriptions, and then ride that wave. They just trying to buy as much of the share as they can. And I'm gonna tell you right now, spending $460 million on Ryan Johnson and Daniel Craig, for 2 Knives Out movies. You do that a couple times a year and watch how fast you lose all of the monies.
I mean, maybe this was a circumstance where they had all that money earmarked for something else, but the deal fell through, and now they're just looking for literally anything to fucking put their money into.
I don't know. My guess is it's a good, like, Knives Out is a good movie. It's highly rated.
Oh, it's a great movie.
Awards. It's going to be a solid franchise.
Does it need 2 more movies?
Yeah, no, I don't think so. But I'll watch it. I'll watch them both.
Yeah.
I'm sure they can do something great with it. Ryan Johnson getting full blown creative control. They don't have to answer to Netflix on nothing. There's no notes. There's no nothing. They're like, hey, bro, just go make these movies, and I'm gonna pay you, all 3 of you, $100 million. They're going to film these movies. They're going to film these 2 movies back to back in probably 5 months. And they're going to make $100 million a piece. 3 of them.
Bro, that's I mean, if you think about it, Daniel Craig is about to get paid Robert Downey Jr. Iron Man money.
Yes, for Knives Out.
For significantly less effort.
We're not even going to theaters, bro.
No.
Stream it.
Yeah. Fucking wow.
It's a lot of money, man. I could see if this was like Tom Cruise, if this was like
it's Daniel
Leonardo DiCaprio, you know what I mean? Like, just some huge name, or if they're like, hey, we're bringing back the fucking, I don't know. I don't know. $460 million for 2 movies that are probably going to be at a $40-50 million budget.
Hell no.
Yeah, they're
so who the fuck are they bringing on as co-stars?
Who knows? It's nothing. They're going to figure out how to spend their money. I mean, my guess is they're I don't know. They're going to have to get a bunch of really, really good actors and actresses and well-known, because I think that's also what is going to add to the film, because it is a type of film where there's so many people that you could get a Leonardo DiCaprio to go in and film for a week, to be in several scenes. You can get a Jamie Foxx or a it's just some really good actors.
How many of them go, but why is Daniel Craig making $100 million and you're trying to offer me 4?
Well, yeah, I mean, it is. Hey, listen, you want to give me $4 million to come and and do some acting for a few days. I'll do that. Yeah, I guess.
Like, yeah, I guess it's just to be part of the project at that point because, we know that traditionally actors will vie their contract, or they'll compare their contracts to the other actors and actresses on the set, and they'll be concerned that if they go in on a movie and they get paid X dollars comparative to the star, then in the future, if they're in another movie, it devalues their bargaining power on future films. So you come in and you say, all right, well, you were in a movie with Daniel Craig who made $100 million and you got paid $3 million.
Dude, I'm this is nail on the coffin for Daniel Craig as Bond. Like,
Yeah.
there is no way
Yeah.
Daniel Craig is doing another Bond movie.
I don't think he wants to anyway.
No, and like this might even have been part of it where he was like, "Listen, man, you want to pay me enough? I'll fuck off from." I mean, he's already fucking off from Bond, but they want him to stay. Like, they want Daniel Craig as Bond. I mean, he's a good Bond. He's, in my opinion, he's the best Bond there's ever been. And I've seen just about every Bond movie ever made.
Yeah.
And Daniel Craig, by far, he's that guy. He's just that guy. But he hates filming these movies. He just does not like it. He's been very vocal about it. To the point where he's like, at one point, he's like, I'd rather kill myself than do another Bond movie right now. He absolutely hates filming Bond movies. And the only reason why he did this last one is they poured a boatload of money at him, and now he's getting a shit ton of money, and he doesn't have to get jacked. He doesn't have to fucking do these crazy stunts.
He puts on a heavily knitted sweater.
That's it. Has a weird accent.
He puts on a shitty accent.
and makes $100 million. There is no way Daniel Craig is doing a Bond movie for 20 or 30 million. He's getting paid 50 million a movie for 2 Knives Out. Hell no. You know what Daniel Craig will say to them fuckers now? He's like, hey, you want me to stay? All right. You see how much Netflix is paying me? Pay me the same. I want $100 million. Because that's where he's at now.
Not happening.
That's where he's at. And it's not happening.
No.
This is going to be the biggest payday Daniel Craig has ever had, ever in his career.
And will probably ever get again.
Ever. Yeah. Unless Netflix continues to just burn money and they're just getting behind this guy. Because, this is quite literally Robert Downey Jr. money.
Yeah.
And that guy is the face of like the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And we're talking about franchises that bring in billions of dollars. This is Knives Out with Ryan Johnson on Netflix. All right.
That just doesn't make any sense.
He just made his children, his children's children, his children's children's children, very wealthy individuals off 2 Knives Out movies that he's going to film in 5-6 months tops.
Bro, the size of the dub that he's holding right now.
Huge dub, bro. He got fucking hammered drunk when that deal got signed, bro. His agent is loving life.
Oh, the payday that agent's a percentage off of that.
$15 million percentage on Knives Out.
Easy.
I bet you.
Agent's retiring, Daniel Craig's retiring, Ryan Johnson's retiring.
Dude, I want to know how much Daniel Craig got paid for Knives Out 1.
I bet you it was less than $10 million.
Oh, easy. Definitely less.
Like maybe 5. 5 to 7.
Oh, man. Let me see here. So he was earning reportedly around $20 million for the Bond film. He earned $25 million for No Time to Die. The first Knives Out movie was a $40 million budget. I'm trying to find. Oh man, I don't know, dude. If I had to guess, Daniel Craig probably got $3 to $5 million. He might have got 2 or 3 million up front with some nice bonus on the back end because the movie did really well. But my God, the pay jump.
Well, he just doubled his money off of. So he just doubled his money from his last Bond movie that isn't even out yet.
Yeah.
And that was them paying him as much as they could fucking bring to the table to get him to return. And now he is going back to, again, walking around a house in a cable knit sweater with a bad accent for twice as much money for 5 months of filming.
Pretty much, yeah. As I'm going to assume they're going to film this back to back. I would imagine. It'd be stupid not to. I mean, this isn't even like a huge action film.
No.
You just, write these movies, film them back to back, and be
Crank him
done with
out.
it. Put out one a year. The other thing is, I think Daniel Craig is probably going to make as much money as he made as Bond in his life, as much as he's going to make on these
There's 2 movies.
Knives Out movies.
Well, I mean, if he made 25 in this latest one, I suspect that he started probably at like 10.
He probably started less than 10, man. As
maybe
the
like
first Bond, he
5.
probably got like 5 million, right? And then as it blew up, he got more and more and more and more and more. But yeah, crazy shit, man.
Props
Netflix
out to the agent working that deal, and congratulations to Daniel Craig for making more money in 5 months than he would have in the rest of his career.
Yeah, and hopefully this is enough money for Rian Johnson to just never touch Star Wars again.
That'd be great.
Ever. And like, hopefully this just ups his pay rate, and Disney's like, no, we're not paying you Knives Out money for our Star Wars movies.
That'd be
And
most
he just says, all right, fuck off then.
be
And we're
most
gonna be like,
ideal.
yes,
Please.
fuck off. Make your Knives Out movies. I'll be there day one to watch them on Netflix. Stay the fuck away from Star Wars.
Yeah. That's it, which means it's time for
Tech support.
ladies and gentlemen, patreon.com/lagtv is the place to go if you want to support this podcast directly. Keep the dream alive. And for $10 more or month, $10 or more a month, that's what I'm trying to say, you get a couple perks, one of which is being able to ask us a question each and every week on a post that I put up for the podcast called Tech Support, and we answer as many of those bad boys as we possibly can in the time that we have. And so let's jump into her. This is I don't quite understand what he's getting at here, but Mark Furry asks, "Hey Jeff, I just wanted to make sure I'm not crazy. If I see someone between the ages of 20 and 80, that's a very broad age group, and they see me with my kid, and they don't seem to be happier seeing a cute ass child, I'm suspicious of that person." Maybe they just don't like kids.
Some people don't like kids.
Actually, there's a growing number of people that don't like kids.
Yeah. I don't mind kids. I actually like kids as long as the kids are well behaved. I don't mind kids at all.
No.
But yeah, I don't think it's that weird. I mean, there's just some people that don't like kids, and there's just some people that just don't put too much thought into it. You just see kids all the time,
No.
whether they're cute or not. I mean, I see tons of cute kids. If I'm just out and about, I don't like sit there and admire how cute of a kid they are or whatever. That's kind of weird. Oh, your kid is just so cute and adorable. Let me pinch his or her cheeks. It's a little weird. Then you start sounding like a pedo more than anything, right? So,
Jorbach asks, you're in a store and an anti-masker comes in behind you and starts making a fuss. Do you say something?
no, the way I look at it is this. You just can't argue with stupid, right? So it's like it would annoy me, and I guess like the answer is it depends on my mood. If I'm like in a very
You're
like,
giving my
pissed
exact
off-
answer right now.
yeah, like if I'm in a very pissed off, like not in a great mood and just not having a great day, I probably would turn around and say, dude, put on your fucking mask or get out of here. You know what I mean? I'd say something like that. But I would say 9 times out of 10, my fuckso-meter is 0. I have my mask on. This idiot wants to be an idiot. Then let him be an idiot. I'm not going to waste my time because I'm going to get into a shouting match with some dumbass. I'm just, it is what it is. Like, I don't. Here's the thing. The way I look at it is simple. There are some people that just think masks are pointless. I mean, the reality is they're not pointless. I mean, it's just scientifically, like, is it the cure all? No, it's not. It's not a perfect solution. But whether you think personally that or you don't care if you get coronavirus or whatever, the decent thing to do is just to be a good person and just wear your mask and shut the fuck up. Like, it's really not that hard. You see millions of people that are dying or getting sick. This is very real. It's been very real for a long time. And the last thing the world needs right now is just some cunt that is going around acting like they know better than everybody else and they're just rebelling to be a cunt. And it's just like, you know what? If you want to be an asshole, just go be an asshole with you and your asshole friends and the people that encourage you to do this stupid shit. Nobody wants to hear it. I don't want to wear a mask. You don't want to wear a mask. I want it all gone. You want it all gone. We can all agree to that. Just don't be an asshole in the process because we're all suffering. You're just making it worse. You're literally making it worse. You going into a public place and bitching about I'm not wearing a mask because it's my freedoms. You're just an asshole. You're literally doing no good to anybody at all. You're going to be falling on deaf ears. Nobody cares about your opinion. You can go and talk to your family and friends about it. I just had a guy on my Facebook. I'm not even joking you. I have removed
Facebook is
I have removed several people from my Facebook, people that I follow on Instagram because of their anti-fucking coronavirus stuff. And it's not that I don't respect their opinion. Like I shouldn't say, actually, I don't respect their opinion, but it's
their right to have an opinion.
Their right. There you go.
Yeah.
I respect their right to have an opinion.
Yeah.
It's how you present that and the manners in which you try and get out your point of view. If you're an asshole, and you're comparing coronavirus deaths to like chicken pox or guns, you're so gone that like I have to just remove you because I'm gonna say something that'll be like out of character for me, and then I'm gonna go down the rabbit hole. So I had to just remove a ton of people over this last year, and people that I like legit people that come to my house and we hang out, like people that I consider good people. They're good people. They're just fucking stupid and uneducated. And I can't listen to it anymore. I can't even pretend because I'm going to say something that's going to ruin a friendship. I'd rather just like wait for this to boil over, let these guys do what they do or gals, and be done with it. So that's sort of where I'm at right now. It's all about my mood. But once again, I'm not shitting on people that don't have an opinion, that have an opinion that's not the same as mine. I'm not. It's the constant, like, they know better, the conspiracy theories and the fucking, it's like, yeah, dude, I've heard it all. I don't care. People are dying. People are losing their jobs, their careers. They're losing everything. And the thing that you want to do is just not wear a mask. Are you fucking stupid? Seriously? Is this like, do you have like no problems in your life to the point where you just refuse to put on a 99-cent mask and not be a cunt about it? It's not that hard. I don't want to wear one either. I don't. I think they're fucking stupid. They look stupid. I hate them. I can barely breathe. I can't fucking stand it. But I know why it's there. Because the 80-year-old beside me can literally die. That means more to me than my personal opinion on if the masks, you should wear them or you shouldn't wear them, or I don't feel like it, or this sucks. It's been a year and a half or whatever. It just, I'm sorry, when somebody's life's on the line, I just have to suck it up, man. As a human being, I just got to suck it up, dude. Seriously.
You know what? The funny, so here's a theory I have about Facebook. So the only reason I still really have Facebook is for the scant few people that I keep in contact with once every couple of years, and for the fact that we run social media through Facebook for Lag TV or whatever else, and I barely even do that anymore.
I don't even do that.
So like, the longer there's definitely a correlation between the longer somebody has a Facebook, not just has a Facebook, but the longer that they have Facebook and actively use it, the fucking crazier that person is likely to be. Because the people using Facebook on a daily basis and really like actively using it, like so many more of them are legitimately fucking cuckoo and conspiracy theorists and the like, that I'm now convinced that that's pretty much what Facebook is. Facebook is mothers posting pictures of their babies and then conspiracy theorists. And then everyone else just kind of has it because they've had it for fucking a decade and they're just sitting on their fucking account. That's like the 3 categories of Facebook user. And if I was on Facebook more for using it for more purposes than I do, I'd probably be seeing the same shit you are, and I'd be removing people from my list too.
Oh, I've done it. I
don't even scroll. M is the last person who went on my Facebook and scrolled through looking for baby pictures.
Yeah.
I don't use Facebook for that reason because they're like full of fucking crazy people. More so on average than other social media platforms. But to answer the question specifically, would I say something? Just like Jeff, depends on my mood. In fact, I have an example of this just the other day. Em and I were out for grocery shopping, and we were in I won't say where we were specifically, but we were in a place that, you know, let's just say I know the type of people that are going to likely show up at this place. So we were at this grocery store, and we had got all of our stuff and we'd gone through checkout, but I had forgotten an item that I needed for my grandmother, and I was like, shit, I got to go back into the store. So back into the store, and it's busy this day because it was like the day after fucking the long weekend, right? So the first day after any long weekend, it's always crazy in grocery stores. So I was like, fuck, I don't want to go back in here, but it's my grandmother, gotta go fucking back in and get this. So I get the item, I go back in, I start waiting in line again. And I'm standing in line, and everyone's doing their 6-foot span thing, whatever, mask on, whatever. And I look to my left, and here comes a trio of the rattiest fucking, like, 16-year-old kids you could imagine. 2 of the 3 of them are wearing a mask. The third guy, who's up front, who's got his sweatpants around his ass, and no, he's not actually black, he's just a misplaced white kid. Dirty as grimy as fuck, no mask, 0 mask, not hanging around his chin, not hanging under his nose, not hanging out of a pocket, 0. I don't know how the motherfucker got past security at the front of the fucking store. And he's walking past, and he's got his fucking shitty ass Spryfield lean. And it took, I was already having a bad day. I was fucking grumpy 2 days in a row. And it took every ounce, because he walked right past me, right in front of me. And now in Nova Scotia, we've got like fucking 5 cases a day, and they're all travel related. There's like 0 chance he has the fucking thing. But it's the principle. It took every ounce of my power not to spit in my hand and slap him in the mouth just to see if they'd start something. I could easily, these are all children. They were all anemic, probably only eating fucking 4 calories in the last 3 days, and they're all just grimy fucking kids that we would have gone to school with. I already know their stuff. It took every ounce of my fucking power to not say something, because I knew, knowing the kids in this area, that it would have just been this big fuss. They would have it would have gotten deeper and deeper, and then I would have gotten fucking charged for beating up 3 children. This is what fucking would have happened. But so that's the answer to the question, is that I really moved, because at the end of the day, like Jeff said, you can't convince
crazy, stupid,
crazy. You can't argue with stupid.
Dude, you want to know one thing? I will say there was a guy on my Facebook recently who, it was one of the few people I didn't block, because he was going on writing long ass paragraphs about, the damage that lockdown is doing and stuff. And there were some valid points, but there always is valid points. I mean, there's more suicide, there's more people losing their jobs. Like, they're all valid points, and they're all points that definitely hold weight, and there's a reality to that. Then there's the other side of it where there's another reality to it, and we're in a pandemic, and like people start forgetting, they start looking at the bad it's doing, that we're trying to prevent this from getting worse. And once again, I'm all for people's opinions, and a lot of the times there's some valid points on both sides. I'm just I'm a believer that things should also be open, and you can't close things forever. And but we should be taking the measures of wearing the mask and social distancing and doing things less capacity and doing things so that the economy can still move in to some degree without it just being dead stop. So anyway, this guy, he was going on these rants for about 6 months, and I had pretty much blocked everybody except for this guy because I like this guy a lot. And I just, it would have been awkward if he noticed I just blocked him for no reason. I didn't want to have to go and be like, tell him like, hey, whatever. So anyway, this guy ends up getting coronavirus. He gets it. And he goes into the hospital and he's put in ICU for days. And has a real coming to Jesus moment.
Yeah.
And I had no idea he got coronavirus. I had no clue until he wrote another massive paragraph. I go, oh my! I start rolling my eyes and like the idiot I am, because it's what Facebook does.
Yeah.
You start reading, right?
Yeah,
because
course,
it's
yeah.
there, right?
Yeah.
That's why I block people, because when I read it, then I want to say something. And there's been times where I've wrote stuff and then just didn't press enter because I'm like, nah, this ain't worth it. But so anyway, I'm reading this. I'm going, oh, okay, here we go. And turns out this guy is basically he's basically admitting how ignorant he was about what this can do to somebody. And this guy is younger than me. He's like 28 years old, 28 or 29. And it crippled him, like literally almost killed him. And now he's back home and his family, it was serious. And he wrote a big, large, long paragraph, which I liked what he did. He admitted his ignorance on certain things. And he told people about how fucking real this shit is. And there were tons of mindless drones that I saw posting on his stuff before. And they even were like, oh, I didn't know it was like, it was that, like, I didn't know it was like that, right? Because a lot of us, we don't realize how serious it is until it affects somebody that we like or love. And then all of a sudden your perception, because it's so much easier to judge at a distance. Well, it's not affecting me and my family the way it's affecting others. Yeah, sure, I'm feeling it because I can't do what I normally do, but is it really that bad? And to some, it's life-shattering. It's the show. And so I think as human beings, we all need to take on some of that burden that other people are going through and have some empathy and take aside our own goddamn desires and what we want. And it's not like they're asking us to fucking, chop off our tongues, never talk again, or don't breathe. Just put on a mask, social distance. If you're not feeling good, stay home, get tested, isolate yourself. It's really that simple. If everybody did that, it wouldn't be perfect, but it'd be a fuck ton better than what we're dealing with. So it was nice to hear that this guy, it sucked that he had to go through this to realize how real it was, but it was nice to see him actually realize, what others are going. And dude, he was a pretty extreme.
Yeah.
Like, we're talking a guy.
Well, that's,
like,
that's fucking, that exact thing can be applied to so much, so many different social situations. It's crazy. Yeah. It's the degrees of separation where you just don't think something is an issue, and then but if the thing that you don't consider to be an issue then somehow impacts you in a negative way, then now it's a problem, and now you got to like go fucking be an advocate against it. The reality for a lot of people is that empathy is like a fucking lost art. People don't have any empathy, and I actually think that the longer we have the phones in our hands and the more we're just, the less and less empathy people have. They have no idea. They don't know what people are anymore. They don't treat people like actual human beings anymore. Getting, having to get the coronavirus and be crippled by it just to be able to change your tune is not something that anyone should have to fucking go through. But it is, I've said this many times now over the last year, probably one of the most frustrating things about this pandemic has been already loosely knowing that the average person is a jackass, but then being proven over and over and over for an entire calendar year was crippling to me. Like, my faith in people was already pretty fucking low, but now it's like, Jesus, it's like it's scraping the bottom of the barrel. If you can't, like you were saying, put on a mask, social distance, stay home if you're not feeling well, maybe go get tested if your local area has that shit set up, and just treat this fucking seriously so that you can protect those around you. Even if it's like you're asymptomatic and you're not going to get hit hard by it, the person that you give it to might not be so lucky.
They might die, literally.
So
because you're an ignorant jackass.
So
it's not worth it. It's
so that was
selfish.
actually the worst. That was the most depressing thing, and continues to be for me. Was like we see a year of this, right? And last year, March, I could almost excuse the spring breaker phenomena that we saw last year. The fact that we saw it again this year seals it for me that there is an entire swath of the population that are stealing my oxygen, and they need to stop, because I want that air, and I don't think they should be breathing it.
And you would think, since we've gone through this all together, that there would be a coming togetherness.
You would think, right?
You would think, like, because this isn't like, oh, you're going to drive downtown and you see some bums, some people in poverty. You have a moment of, I feel bad for them, while you walk by with your $7 latte in your hand and your $1,200 purse. This is you see this everywhere. Like, you're constantly reminded that and how big of an influence that this pandemic has had on the globe, that like you would think us as human beings would have a little bit more compassion for each other and empathy, and work together as humans to get through this period, not to fight with each other. Now, some of us have. There's been some great stories out there.
Absolutely.
And it's not all doom and gloom. But unfortunately, we don't see too many of the good stuff because it doesn't sell. We only see the negative. And so, that's it. So
some people get by just having somebody tell them not to put their hand on the burner because it's going to hurt. Other people need to put their hand directly on the burner.
Yeah, they can't help themselves
before they'll believe that it's a bad idea. And then there are lots of people that will do it and then continue to put their hand on the burner over and over again.
It wasn't that bad. I only got 7-degree burns here, and my skin is just completely peeled off. But it's okay. I'll grow some new skin. And those are the people you can't argue with stupid.
No,
right?
that's
that's the back to the grocery store.
Yeah.
You just can't argue with those people because you're just going to realize they're going to keep putting their hand on the stupid oven, and there's just nothing you can do to change their mind.
You just got to sit back and watch it happen. Danjum asks, cocktails. There's lots of them. What's your favorite cocktail?
Cocktail? Like, what would we consider a cocktail?
That's a good question. I was thinking the same thing. I don't know. I mean, mixed drinks for me is just like a rum and coke, Ryan ginger, and then I'm done.
Because if we're talking like a fancy cocktail, I don't drink like margaritas or whatever. Like I'm a Tom Collins guy. I'm a vodka and cran guy. If you want to consider that a cocktail, I don't know what the I'm not an alcohol connoisseur or whatever. I don't know that. I don't know the things. But I always got a bottle of Grey Goose in my fridge, and I typically will, a few nights a week, I'll have one or two. I'll get loose on the goose.
Goose and
cranberry
juice.
Mm-hmm.
I can't believe there's anyone in chat actually willing to engage with a guy who's got 8 numbers at the end of his name advocating for Trump in chat right now. I mean, if you fall for that shit, Has anyone ever told you not to put your hand on a burner? Now would be the time. Dean Eves says, you decide you want to make a boatload of Canadian pesos and auction off a memorable Lag TV moment as an NFT. What one Lag TV moment do you choose? And also, who's
Uh,
winning the auction?
man, I'm going with the when Cheese fails when he realizes that he's cannon rushing the wrong base and the fail sign hits. There it is.
I mean, that's it, right? It's the
That's a moment
picture
right
with
there.
the fail sign, him at the empty base. Obviously, that's the one.
That's it. That's it.
And who wins that auction? Who buys it? Fucking good question.
I don't know. Whoever
Let's-
wants to spend a large amounts of money on.
Yeah.
Sure.
So,
I don't care.
whoever does it.
Yeah.
Vulcus asks, looking at video screen sets they use to make things like the Mandalorian, you know, those domes that they were using, and the VR and game engine tech that they used in that, which they were basically using game tech for that. Do you think it'll be very long before that kind of stage setup gives way to full-on virtual reality, or at least augmented reality replacements for shooting on locations for movies and TV? So that kind of tech being more ubiquitous.
That was a super confusing question. So
I guess his question is given how successful they were with the Mandalorian in shooting it the way that they did. Do you think that style of production is going to become more popular and used more in more places in the
you
future?
mean like in studios? Like filming in studios?
Well, like the in studio, but like specifically for Mandalorian, they use like those domes where they were using video game rendering engines to basically do like all the back. Have you ever seen how the Mandalorian is shot?
Yeah. I've
So
seen
like
that.
that's pretty unique to the Mandalorian. So do you think that's going to become more popular in time and be used in more places now that the Mandalorian has such success with that style?
I don't know. I would say yeah. I mean, if the Mandalorian made it successful and it's a big hit, I'm sure that other sets will do similar. I don't know if that'll be the norm, but it makes sense. It makes sense to have a higher budget. It makes sense for higher budget shows to do that sort of stuff instead of going to really expensive locations. To do it that way. I'm sure it's probably not the cheapest way of doing things, but it probably saves the money in the long run just from being in a central location spot where you're not taking a crew of 100 across the country or across the globe to different locations to match a thing. So yeah, I mean, the initial setup's probably super expensive, but if they're filming multiple shows and seasons, they can just kind of keep reusing their set and have their animated guys or whatever do all the digital stuff.
Yeah, because it worked, fantastically for them. I mean, my God, that show looked great considering how they ended up doing it. I mean, if you never told me that, or if you had told me that they weren't just using traditional like green screen, blue screen sets, I don't know if I'd ever would have believed you. Like they were doing it in a fucking dome like that. I don't think once you knew that and you watched the show, you could sort of see it. Not like literally, but you could see how they were framing shots. You could almost visualize the space that the actors and actresses were in, right? But yeah, I mean, I agree. I think it will be, if anything, it would be a situation where it would be like studios setting up a space and then shows would be renting the space to do their shows in it, because unless you've got Disney money and you're doing it that way, that's going to be kind of expensive for a one-off, right?
Yeah.
Let's see. Dr. Samurai asks, will Quebec ever secede from Canada? Will they ever separate from Canada? No, it's not going to happen. No. And if they did, it would last about 1 to 2 years, and they'd immediately return to Canada. Much like the West, also never going to secede from the rest of the country. Logan, favorite ice cream flavor, Mr. Black?
Vanilla.
I have to agree. It's
Just
so plain, but vanilla. Damn it.
Yeah. And I like the creamy vanilla.
Yeah.
I prefer that. If I had to pick a second that isn't as plain as vanilla, I got to go with like orange creamsicle.
Yeah, I'm just a vanilla guy, bro.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with vanilla. Vanilla, you can't go wrong with
vanilla. Like, if I'm going to get an ice cream cone, like if I'm going to Cows, I'm not getting vanilla. But
No,
but if I'm just eating some ice cream at home, or if I'm keeping ice cream in the house,
yeah.
it's vanilla because it goes with fucking
Yeah,
everything,
and it can go by itself. If
and
you
it's good on its
if you
own.
just feel like a few scoops of vanilla ice cream, it
Yeah.
ain't bad. You know,
No,
you
I
can't go
have
wrong
done that many
many
times.
Yes, yes.
Let's see. Last one. Danish Devil asks, have you ever had any neat moments observing nature? Living on a lake, I regularly get to enjoy the circle of life, especially with birds versus fish, lizards and crawfish, etc. I also had a staring match with a seal one day on a beach. So have you ever had any neat moments observing nature, Mr. Blank?
I don't really do any nature observing. Um, I mean, on my cameras, like the cameras are around my house. I've seen bears go through my garbage. I've seen, I mean, tons of deer and stuff are always
Hmm.
here. Um, you know, raccoons, just like a lot of nature. I see that all the time. Um, but as for like out in the wild type thing, I don't think I've ever had any major encounters. Like in terms of seal, I remember when I was young, I was like probably 10 or 11 years old. I went out. Dad used to take me out fishing all the time, and we went fishing in Digby, and it was one of those things where if you put 4 hooks on it, you throw it out there, you're gonna catch 4
You're
fish.
just
Like
jigging fish.
it
Yeah.
was just like it was a lot. So
Was it
I
mackerel?
remember it was mackerel. Yep.
Yeah.
I remember I threw my cast out there and I'm doing my thing, and I feel a bunch of bites. Then I feel a big bite, and yeah, it just ended up it ended up getting away. It was a seal, but then another guy beside me threw it out there, and the seal caught it, his thing, and ended up he was catching the seal, like the seal was coming in, and you could see it, but it was really hooked in,
Yeah.
and the seal just took the whole fucking rod right into the water and took everything. So yeah, that was fun.
You're not going to win a strength match with a seal.
No,
It's just not going to happen.
yeah, but yeah,
Um, yeah, I had. I mean, I've been within 8 feet of a moose. That was kind of fucking crazy. It was a female moose. She was laying down. It was when I was on a trip and we were out hiking, and but it was like a really public area, like a lot of foot traffic, and there was a lot of tourists who aren't obviously from the East Coast or have never known a moose or anything about a moose before, and they were pushing it a bit.
mm,
So I stayed, I took a quick look, and then I got the fuck out because these people were like walking closer and closer with their phone cameras and shit, and I was like, man, you guys, first
you
of
guys are
all,
crazy.
you have no idea how big that moose is until it stands up, even if it is a female. Fucking huge.
It will fuck you up.
And there are lots of animals that will run from you in the woods. A moose is not one of them. They will run towards you every single fucking time. And you don't win that. I mean, a moose wins versus a car. They're going to win versus you on the ground. So, yeah, get out of there for that one. And then one summer on the beach, and it was in the evening. We were there for sun going down over the water. Just walked over to the beach, and it was just so happened to be the first year in ages that we had a lot of whales coming in here in Nova Scotia, and they were feeding at that time. The fish had been coming because the tides were just as such that right around sunset, coincidentally, the mackerel were actually coming in to the harbor, and so the whales were chasing the fish in, and so we were sitting there on the beach watching the sunset, and then there were just endless whales breaching and jumping out of the water, out in the water over and over again for like 30 minutes. It was just a half hour of like your own Discovery Network documentary watching whales jumping out of the water. It was fucking wild. So that was kind of fun to see as well. I haven't seen any like animals taking out other animals in person. I haven't witnessed that. But the tourists getting close to the moose would have been the closest thing to that I would have seen, because that moose would have taken out just about every fucking Japanese tourist that was standing around it trying to take pictures. It's like, oh, you guys are fucking crazy. You don't know what you like. If you don't know anything about a moose, just Google search moose running through snow. You're gonna find one. It's like 4.5 feet of snow, and the moose is running at about 60 kilometers an hour.
Yeah.
It just doesn't fucking care. Blasting through it. So if you want any concept of just how big and strong and scary a moose is, or better yet, there was some idiot I saw, there's also a video, he was bow hunting. And he wanted to bow hunt moose.
Nah.
Which is a bold move.
You better have the accuracy of Jesus.
You're Legolas, bro.
Yes.
You got your...
I'm not even sure Legolas can handle accuracy.
Bow hunting a moose, and a bull moose.
You better hit the heart immediately.
This guy is within like 20 feet of this, because you have to be with a bow. You're like at 20 feet of this moose, and you're seeing this video, and the moose is a big old bull, fucking antlers on it, just fucking huge. And this guy's pulling his bow back, and he doesn't have a clean shot at this fucking moose. But he takes the shot anyway, and the arrow just, and the arrow hits the like 48 feet of muscle that is in the chest of this moose. And this moose stops, looks at him, and immediately charges right at him. And then the guy's like, fuck, he's dead. 100%. Dude is super fucking dead. But yeah, don't.
Dude, I wouldn't shoot a moose with a gun.
No.
Because you better shoot it in the heart, and if you shoot it in the heart, it still might keep pumping
long
enough to fuck you up before it goes down. Hell no.
That's true. You better either take the head clean off its shoulders, or you better have the best aim ever on that heart shot.
You got one shot, one opportunity.
To give it everything you've got. Oh, that guy fucked up though. It was funny to watch, but at the same time I was like, he could possibly be dead now. So I don't know. Obviously he got out because the video showed up on the internet, but bad choices were made that day. Either way, ladies and gentlemen, that's all we got for this episode of Tech Golf. I hope you guys had fun checking it out. If you're new, hit the follow button. Head on over to youtube.com/lifesaglitchtv for the VODs of these bad boys. You can like and comment there and watch them there if you want. Also available on RSS feeds just about everywhere within a couple of hours of this ending each week, with few exceptions. And as Jeff mentioned earlier, please, if you have the chance, just spread the word about the podcast if you enjoyed yourself and you think other people might enjoy it. And then give us a review on iTunes or Spotify or anywhere else where you have the opportunity to do so. It means a lot to us and goes a long way. Also, patreon.com/LikeTV if you want to financially support the podcast. And until next week, guys, wear your fucking masks. Don't be an asshole. Stay safe out there. We're almost there, at least with here in the States. We got some more time up here, Canadians, but just, buckle up. We'll make it. And until then, peace!
Peace!